Hello, today I'm going to talk to you about this tiny camera. It's the smallest instant camera made by Polaroid. It's the Polaroid Go. This is the generation 1. And also, I will tell you how I managed to improve my photos from this to this. So, without more delays, let's go to have a closer look to the camera. See the photos. I will show you photos from 4 packs, 2 that I was really bad, and some of them acceptable, and then the third one which was really good, and the fourth which was mixture. So let's go there. Let's have a closer look to the camera. It is tiny for an instant camera, and it is definitely cute. I think that's something we can accept. It's a really tiny, beautiful thing. So for here, you have the flash. You can activate it on and off. From here, you half I think you press and it's focusing and fully to take a photo. This is to open and close. And yes, so you can see 0 because I already took the photos. And I think, yes, you see, I don't know if you notice it, there's a tiny lighting here, which indicates if the flash is on and off. The camera, I read online that it has also a self timer, which I never used, and also a double exposure, which also I didn't use. You can see that this one is a generation 1, so it can charge with a kind of an old USB thing. If you open it below, it's like you put the film inside here, the pack of films, and it's how it looks inside. And then you close. And I think this is more or less, you can have a nice viewfinder from here. More or less, this is like the things for this camera. So this one was the Polaroid Go. It goes in the market since 2021, the generation 1. Then they improve it in 2000, I think 24, they make a version 2. And in general, it is important to notice, maybe I mentioned in another video, but just quickly go through some historical facts. Polaroid stopped producing films, the main company, in 2008. Then we have from 2008 to 2010, it was the Impossible project, which they start making again Polaroid negatives. But I think it was again too expensive and I never tried it. And then now it's again, I think since 2020, there is all this rebranding. And I don't know how the current company, how much is connected to the original ones, but at least we have to congratulate the people who bring it back to life, even if the photos, as we'll see, at least for this tiny camera, they are not great, but they are not supposed also to be great, and maybe at the end of the day, it's also a matter of taste. So, and I think the larger one, which I have already a video for this, the Polaroid Now, has been released in 2020. So you can also go and check that video. And now let's go to see the photos. Okay, let's look some of the photos. And this is like my initials, which were really bad, I think. And I think all of them, it should be like, maybe I was too far. And also there was a big difference between some bright and dark areas. Here I think it was too dark and too far. Maybe this one will have work if I have the flash on. Again, this is the big contrast. Here again, too far, and also the lighting was not great. This is maybe not too bad for the film, but it is like, when it was my first kind of experience with Polaroid, I thought it was not great. I think this is kind of acceptable for this kind of film. This is the same. I was hoping like if it was a little more bright. Again, not great, not too bad. Me. Looking into it now, it's not too bad, but all of them it was like feeling like a little disappointing. But this is, again, this is kind of dark, but not terrible. Maybe I used the flash here, but maybe I was too far. This is kind of decent for this type of camera, but again, if you never shoot this type of film, it doesn't feel great. Maybe similar, but maybe I used the flash here, not so sure. Yeah, this is kind of acceptable maybe for this kind of camera. But then I try in another pack, and I think the things I learned, I try to move kind of closer and have more uniform lighting. Here the lighting is not uniform, but I think this work kind of beautifully. Again, here it's acceptable, and I changed it compared to the previous. Starting from this one, I I'm I make okay. I try to read a little how to improve it, and I make differences. First, try to move closer. Try to have uniform lighting, and also after taking the photo, wait for 15 seconds and then remove it. And when I remove it, put it as fast as possible in a box or in a book, so it is dark there, and leave it. Not take it out for at least 15 to 20 minutes. And maybe that's why my quality started improving. I was really happy with this one. The same with this one. I kind of like it. And also this one. Oh, I hope I wasn't looking at the screen, so I don't know if you missed them. So I try to share this again quickly. Yeah, I was looking at the photos and I noticed that maybe you didn't see everything. So here I really like also this one. And this one is one of my favorites. These are decent photos, I think. And this is kind of acceptable. And this is also nice. And then today I've gone for a walk and it was like another film I have. But I don't know if it was also the temperature or what is causing it. Because I read that you have to be mindful that also the temperature is affecting it. But today it was like kind of nice temperature. But I love this one. I think it's amazing how clear is the text. Here again is not too bad. I mean, when you look at like and try to accept it as it is, I mean, not perfect, it's okay. This was a door with a street art. Maybe in this case, I'm not sure if the flash will help. But again, this is decent. And maybe in the camera it looks better. This is like some kind of rocks there. This one, maybe I was wrong again. I should have not taken this one because the front was much darker than the back, and we know that it doesn't perform great on that one, these conditions. This is kind of acceptable again. I was curious for that how it will come out, and I wish it was a little more brighter there. And this one's again, maybe should have been a little more careful, I don't know. I don't know if it was the background confusing it, but at least I try. So I think my favorite ones were like the third pack, those ones. Yes. So I come back now with some closing thoughts. So let's come back with some closing thoughts. Definitely, it's a cute camera. I think that's obvious. And I don't know if I remember, but I think I remember to mention that it is charging through a USB, which is, I mean, this is something, let's say, better than the instant cameras from Fujifilm, which I think most of them are with batteries. But apart from that, how can I say? I don't think the quality of the photos is great, and I don't know what should we expect. So I mentioned in a few months ago, like in a video, that I regret buying this camera. I mean, based on the third pack, it was not terrible. But I'm not sure really if I will buy more to try. I'm really glad that I try it and I use it just for the experience, because as I keep mentioning in most of my videos, it's how a camera makes me feel. And this user experience, it is great. It is small, it is beautiful, the viewfinder is great. But the problem is with the photos themselves, which is not great, not great to say for an instant camera. But at least it's like just there make a revision, if it's the correct English word, about how we can improve the photos and get, as we say initially, something like that from that to that. So we have to move closer. It seems like this camera is better for this one. And actually, when I bought it, the people from the store were telling me like It's not so much for taking photos like outside. It's more if you like have friends and want to take selfies, which I saw you one of mine, but I'm not the person who has friends to go out and take photos of them with them. So maybe it was kind of a mistake for me. The guys tell me that maybe it's not the perfect camera, but I wanted to try. And actually, when I saw the third film, it was the third pack. I was motivated to try the larger one, which I think I have another video about this one. So as we say, move closer. Uniform lighting. This camera works, in my opinion, better if you're close and the lighting is not having strong highlight or strong hard shadow. So maybe you get, in that case, some overexposed areas and some underexposed areas, and the photo doesn't look great. Then, as you say, 15 seconds after we take the photo, a little tongue come out, and you have to wait. It's not like the Fujifilm cameras; they don't have this problem. But for instance, for Polaroid cameras, the smaller and the larger, you have to wait. And also, after taking the photos, sorry, you cannot Fujifilm have them on the light. You don't need to move them. I don't know if the shaking was something from the past, but I never tried Polaroid, the older versions before 2008. But for these ones, you don't have to shake it or something like that. You just have to put it, they say upside down, but for me, I have it either in my pocket or I have it like a small book, like a diary, and I put them there. And from the last one, I took the last one. I noticed the time and wait for 15 to 20 minutes and then go to a place to see it. So that's how to improve it. And also, I read that you have to use flash, and maybe some of the photos came too dark because I thought I don't want to use flash because I'm not using flash. But as the camera has in general in my photography, but if the camera gives you the opportunity to give the flash, please do so. In most of the cases, the only thing that is getting problematic with these cameras or in general is when there is like a window or a glass area or a mirror behind, and then you can see the flash thing. And also I read that, but I don't know how I can use it or if I want to use it. It has to do with the temperature. So extreme temperature maybe also affect the photos. So that's all. It was an interesting experience using this camera. Maybe as you say the result was not perfect, but I'm happy that I use it. I'm happy I tried it, and we'll see for the future. I don't know how frequent and how much I use it again. So if you like the video, please share some comments. If you have experience using these cameras, also I'm happy to hear your thoughts. If you see something is wrong on what I said, also I'm welcome to hear anything. And also like, subscribe. Also some other people can find my channel. And thanks again for staying till the end. I'm going to see you again hopefully in the next videos.